Welcome back, everyone, to Hidden Treasure. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Brad, and today we're going to be talking about forgiveness. You don't want to miss this one.
This is a subject that is, you could say, challenging, and we're kind of all over the place with forgiveness because we'll say we forgive someone, and then, Brad, we still hold a grudge and we can't forget it.
It's it sounds so simple to do, but it's the hardest thing to do because we have to let go of some of our beliefs, some of our resentment toward others, our grudges,
Hmm.
things that we have opinions about everything we see. We judge everything, and we take offense to things without even knowing it. And I think that's where we start building up those walls.
Just for me, I just had to get real about it and say, you know what? Forgiveness is something that which, when you forgive, you turn it loose. You say, I'm done with it. I'm not going to hold on to it any longer. I'm going to forgive and forget and move on.
But the way we're brought up is we're brought up to stand for things, right? To have
Right.
have beliefs, and
Right.
we should never compromise on what we believe, what we hold
Right.
true, and so we create these. I call them walls, like you're in a prison.
Mentioned I had an experience and I spent a week alone with God in the mountains. And what I did was woke up the first day, and when I said, "Hey, I'm ready," and all of a sudden I experienced this exquisite joy that came over me. It dawned on me within that first hour of this new feeling that I didn't. Everybody was forgiven. I mean, I had over 35 grudges. I could have named off their names with two in 2 minutes with glee. I had a list, and it was gone. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is great! I feel so good." And I'm glad it happened to me that way because I was able to realize just how much better I felt instantly
Right.
without any with all of my everybody I'd ever hated and held a grudge against and couldn't forgive. They were now forgiven, and I felt nothing but acceptance and love for.
So let me ask you, when you had that moment where um, that that moment of forgiveness towards others, did you realize that the whole time that you were the cause, that you were
Yes,
doing it to yourself?
instantly.
Yeah.
That is so true. That's well put. Is that I realized I was the one that had brought this negative state of emotional nature upon myself that had me bound up in a mental prison
Right.
of my own doing.
That's right.
Yes, because of my unwillingness to forgive people who had done me wrong. Now, I'd been brought up in a church, and I had heard that Jesus said you must forgive 70 times 7, meaning that's like what, 490 times?
That's a lot.
I guess what he was saying is just do it. But
Just
I just do it.
just do it. And
Yeah.
so, in the future, we're going to be talking about not taking things personal. We're also going to be talking about conflict.
Hmm.
And so, when you're not forgiving others, you really are taking kind of a narrow-minded approach,
You are.
and it's all about you, me. It's not about the other person. You're not thinking about where they're coming from, and the fact that they may not have intended to offend you at all.
Hmm.
You know.
That happens. That's a lot of times. You're right about that. And but I guess what we don't realize is what a mental drain it is on us, and what bondage it is for us to hold on to something. But I don't know about you, but for me, I had a voice inside my head that said, "Well, Jimmy, you don't. They don't deserve to be the forgiveness. Look what they did to you. You
Right.
didn't deserve to be treated that way."
Right.
It was all. It was so personal.
Right.
Like, woe is me. You should have never done me that way. And when it was gone, then I realized, good gosh, that was just my ego, my human nature telling me you can't do that. But actually, what I've learned too is it fed off of that. It didn't want me to let go because it got something out of it. It was
Mm.
like, oh yeah, that's right. They shouldn't have done that to me.
You're wanting to be right
Yes. Oh yeah,
all
we do love to be right, don't we?
all the time,
All the time.
and also when you don't forgive others, you're in many ways you're still living in the past. You're holding on to something that happened
Hmm.
in the past. You think of that person the way you thought they were then,
Right.
and the beauty about this journey we're on is we're ever changing.
Ever change.
We're growing. We talk about the journey we're on, and everybody's in a different spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about this earlier. Everybody uh, has a starting point,
Mm-hmm.
but we all have a different finish line.
Right.
We don't know when the race is going to come to an end, right?
Right.
And so while we're here, to have that peace, love, joy, and light, to forgive others, just opens up ourselves to be, like we talked about before, more loving and accepting. And we hear this a lot of times. People say, "Oh, well, I can forgive them, but I'm not going to forget
Yeah.
about it."
Oh, yeah. That's the biggie.
Well,
And I was that way.
if you don't forget about it and you're still harboring those feelings and you truly haven't forgiven anybody, and you're using that energy to keep that conflict alive.
That's right. And many people are dealing with that. I've heard so many people, especially as I've encouraged people to forgive and move on. I've heard, well, I've forgiven people, but I'm not going to forget it.
I'm not going to forget it.
Yeah, and then I can then if you ask them questions, the right kind of questions and get them to talk, you'll find out they still have some animosity towards these people, even though they don't think they do.
Animosity, indignation.
Mm-hmm.
They almost go back and they can relive that emotion, that feeling,
Right.
and so that like you said, they truly haven't forgiven.
They truly haven't. All right. Another thing that I've discovered about forgiveness is it's hard to forgive the unforgivable. In other words, the people are just really bad and do really mean things,
Right.
and it's almost like they live for that, and we're supposed to forgive them. But yeah, it turns out we are.
When we talked about the hidden treasure inside of us, that light, we're all connected. It's all there. And so once you experience that, or once you become enlightened, and you just see the world in a different place, you realize even though we're in these adult bodies, these adult avatars, if you will, we're still the same light we had when we were kids.
Right.
We've changed on the outside. We look differently. We've certainly aged, and we've had some life experience, but we're still that same innocent child on the inside.
And another thing that can help you, and this has helped me a lot, was when I realized it's people who are already hurt that are hurting others. Hurt people hurt others.
Mm.
Now, we don't know what happened. Maybe they had a parent that hurt them. Maybe it was a teacher. Maybe it was a ex, lover or something, spouse. But when people are hurt, they tend to take that pain and project it out on others.
Mm.
So it's really not about us. Most of the time, it's about them.
Right.
And when we can see it like that, it makes it easier to forgive. Over time, with practice, we can get better at anything. And that's the key to it, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, just practice.
That's right.
We're practicing, aren't we?
That's right. We're not perfect. We're getting better. And what we mean by that is we're practicing more love, acceptance, more forgiveness. And we're going to come up with another video here shortly that I think you're going to like. And it's going to be about not taking things personally
And let things bother you.
and turning the other cheek.
Turn that other cheek. We believe that good teacher, when he said turn the other cheek, this is what he was talking about.
That's right. So if you like this video, hit like. If you'd like to see more of these, hit subscribe. And if you could comment down below and just let us know about maybe a story or something that you're going through personally where you've forgiven somebody and you look at them differently. And we'd love to hear your testimony, your story about how that's worked with you.
There you go. Everybody's got a story, and we'd love to hear yours. So
Yep.
Thank you for listening.
Yep. Thank
Peace,
you.
joy, love, and light be with you.
See you next time.